Jesus did on the cross, his righteousness. Verse 21. But now, see that right? See now, because Jesus Christ died on the cross, so we can have that now. Now, but they didn't have that back then, see? So they couldn't do that. Now, the righteousness of God without the law is manifested, being witnessed by the law and the prophets, even the righteousness of God, which is by faith of Jesus Christ, unto all and upon all them that believe, for there is no difference. You see? You know, the Jews, if they're very honest, they do not keep the law of Moses. Didn't you know that? Amen. They're not continuing blood sacrifices. Right. And that is very vital for them to get forgiveness of sins for their salvation. They don't practice circumcision. And circumcision was also necessary to follow the law for their salvation. A lot of them don't follow that. They've lowered the standards of circumcision. You'd be surprised about that. So you see, this will be a powerful argument against Old Testament Judaism, you see. And making them see that they can't get saved the way they're doing, and they need Jesus Christ. Amen. But also this debunks this hyper-dispensational heresy that there is nothing spiritual Christian that you can find in the Old Testament. And they cut off the Old Testament from you. No, you can't do that. Christians can learn something from Old Testament. I mean, look at this, man. Spiritual meaning. Not only that, let's also look at Romans chapter 4, verse 6 through 8. You know what's another powerful evidence is David. David. Because he has faith, not works. Really, Pastor? Yeah. Because you know what he did? He broke the law of Moses by committing adultery and murder. Now, he should be put to death, you see, adultery and murder. But God spared him. Look at Romans chapter 4, verse 6. Even as David also describeth the blessedness of the man, unto whom God imputeth righteousness without works, saying, Blessed are they whose iniquities are forgiven and whose sins are covered. When David killed Uriah the Hittite and committed adultery, he should have been stoned to death by the law of Moses, but despite of that failure of physical works, what did God do? I'll just forgive you anyway. See, he just gave him forgiveness without works. Right. You see? So notice right here that there was something spiritual involved. You see that? That's right. But that did not mean that David realized and ignored the truth that there were faith and works during his time period, right? He realized that nevertheless, you see. He realized that nevertheless. But God made him an exception with his sin of adultery and murder. Because if you read his life, in the book of Psalms, he had a strong works with God, works relationship with God. He was very close to God, you see. He had a very soft heart. All right, now let's look at Matthew chapter 3, verse 1. Isaiah 52. Isaiah 52, Isaiah chapter 52, and we're going to look at verses 13 through 15. Isaiah 52, verse 13 through 15. In that passage, you're going to find out that there was prophecies about the Messiah as king and sufferer. King and sufferer, okay? So this is very, very important. Isaiah chapter 52, verse 13 through 15. Now, what's very important to know about this is that the Jews, they're looking forward to a kingly Messiah, you see, a physical kingdom, because that's what God promised the Jews. God promised the Jews that they will have a physical kingdom under a physical messianic king, okay? So the Jews know that. That's what we believe. So that's an important thing to understand, because the idea of the kingdom, you'll see that especially at the end, because that's what they're looking for, you see, a physical messianic king. But this is the part they ignore. They also got to realize that he's also a sufferer too. He's a sufferer too. That's the part that the Jews, Old Testament Judaism, ignore. Look at Isaiah chapter 52, verse 13. The Bible says in Isaiah chapter 52, verse 13, Behold, my servant shall deal prudently. He shall be exalted and extolled and be very high. You see that? So the Messiah, God's servant, is going to be like a kingly reign. You see, exalted, very high. But look at verse 14, his suffering too. As many were astonished at his visage was so marred more than any man, and his form more than the sons of men.